Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Kazina, aka Kozibear, and I'd like to thank you for joining me this evening for another installment of Season 5 of Kozibear's Cooking. Yes, the microphone quality is actually that much better. I recently figured out, oh wait a minute, I can buy this little headset. It's practically invisible, you can't really see it, that allows me to hang my lav mic from the side of my lips, just like this. And that right there boosted my audio quality tenfold. Tonight, we are going to be making Tim Hortons cereal donuts. We're going to be making donuts from Tim Hortons cereal. You've already seen them over here on the left side of my desk. I have two different types of Tim Hortons cereal. This right here is Timbits birthday cake flavored cereal. So it's based on, some people call them munchkins, some people call them donut holes. Here in Canada, we call them Timbits. And then the other one is chocolate glazed Timbits flavored cereal. I have had both of these cereals before, and I was thinking, you know, it'd be fun to do something involving these for a future stream. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? What if we took Rice Krispie treat versions of these Timbit cereals and then we molded them into the shape of donuts? That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be molding Rice Krispie treat versions of these cereals into donut shapes, and then we're going to be putting a chocolate glaze on our chocolate glazed Timbits cereal treat thingamabob, and we're also going to be putting birthday cake sprinkles on our birthday cake treat thingamabob, whatever you want to call it. Step number one, we are going to start out by spraying a muffin tray with non-stick cooking spray and then placing 2 sheets of parchment paper on 2 separate baking trays. The idea here is twofold. We are going to be spraying up our muffin trays because chances are we're probably going to have a lot of excess cereal treats left over from this process, and we want some place where we can put the excess cereal into. And so I figured, oh, spray some non-stick cooking spray into each of the individual crevasses here so that we can put our excess treats in here later on. Next up, we're going to grab our 2 baking trays and we are going to put parchment paper on top of these because these baking trays are where we will be putting the donuts that we're going to be molding from our Timbits. And there we go. Step 2, we are going to melt 1.5 tablespoons of butter in a frying pan over medium-low heat. Guess what? This is the frying pan. Let's go ahead. We'll set up our portable burner shebang. It's been a couple of streams that we've had to use our portable burner. Set up our portable hood range as well so we can cleanse any fumes as they emerge. And there we go. A full tablespoon of butter. And there we go. Our half tablespoon of butter. And we will slowly allow it to melt using a wooden spoon because I don't want to scrape the interior. While that's happening, let's read a little ahead to step 3. We are going to add 5 ounces of mini marshmallows to the pan after the butter is melted and stir them until fully melted. For this one, I'm going to use my digital scale. You put it on the digital scale, you press the reset button and there it resets. And now we can get an accurate measurement of how many ounces of marshmallows we're putting in this thing. There we go. That's 2 ounces. I have a little shallow plate here, which we'll need for some stuff later on. But for now, I can store the marshmallows on here. There we go. That's about 2 more ounces. And there we go. I think that's good. All right. Well, let's go ahead. We'll just pour our marshmallows in here. Once again, mix it up with our wooden spoon. You can already see the marshmallows very lightly beginning to melt. While this is happening, we can go ahead and read ahead to step 4. We're going to remove our mini marshmallows from heat and stir in 3 cups of Timbits chocolate glazed cereal onto it. That is 1 cup of cereal. That is 2 cups of cereal. Let's stir this a little bit more. Make sure nothing is burning. And that is 3 cups of cereal. I think that's actually pretty well melted. So I'm going to go ahead, turn off the heat and turn the burner off. I'll put this over here and we're going to go ahead and we're going to pour these bad boys in and mix it up. Look at how stringy it looks. It's like Polly-O string cheese. Step 5, we're going to shape a good amount of our chocolate Timbit cereal into 2 donut-shaped treats on one of the parchment paper lined baking trays, and then stuff any remaining excess cereal mixture into the prepared muffin tray. Now, how hot is this stuff? It's kind of hot. But is it so hot that I can't really handle it? It's very sticky is the problem. I'm wondering if I put cooking spray on my hands. I was gonna potentially go upstairs, get some flour, help myself work these things, but I bet that if I put cooking spray on my hands, I can deal with them. Or maybe not. Ooh, I'm not gonna lie. This might end up being a little bit tricky. Yeah, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna be right back and I'm gonna get some flour. I am back. We'll see if this works. Things might not work out perfectly. I mean, all my streams are called, can I make X product? They're not, oh, I absolutely will 100% be able to make this product. I have full immunity if things don't actually work out. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is definitely the right call, but I need to add some more of this stuff. I'm actually very pleased with the shape of this. This doesn't look so bad right now. I'm making an executive call. I think this will be my one chocolate donut. I might add maybe a few pieces here and there just to give it a little bit more volume, but I don't think I'm going to make two. I think I'm just going to make the one. And then the rest I'll stuff into the muffin tin as previously planned. I was really concerned when I first poured it onto this thing of parchment paper. I was like, ooh, this is very sticky. This is not coming together, but it's definitely coming together now. All right. This looks good. And yeah, we'll shove the rest in these things. This is a sticky ass food. Who knew that marshmallows would be so sticky? We can actually take our little spatula over here, spray down the bottom of it like that with our cooking spray. Now we can use that to push down our treats like such. Step 6, we are going to repeat steps 1 through 5, but this time with our Timbits birthday cake cereal. First things first, I think we need to clean our frying pan a little bit. I don't want to use any soap. I'm just going to try to rely as much as I can on warm water and the spray nozzle. And there we go. I think that's good. First thing we need to do is, once again, we need to melt 1.5 tablespoons of butter. And there we go. That's tablespoon number 1. And that's tablespoon number 0.5. Next up, we need to add our marshmallows. There we go. That's 2 ounces. That's about 2 more ounces. There we go. That's our final ounce. Like last time, we're going to begin to stir these bad boys up, make sure they melt. All right, we should probably, while we have the chance, measure out some of our birthday cake cereal. So let's do that right now before we forget. That is 1 cup of birthday cake cereal. That is a very slightly heaping 2nd cup. And that is a 3rd cup of birthday cake cereal. Let's go ahead. Let's pour our cereal into our marshmallow mix. Just love how spiderwebby it looks. It's the Spiderwick Chronicles. Okay, I think we're good. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna grab a good amount of flour. I'm gonna grab these bad boys, schlep a good amount of them over here to our parchment paper, and we're gonna shape these into our donut. Right off the bat, I feel like we got a pretty good shape going for ourselves. Sticking too much, we need some more flour. Let me just bring in our chocolate donut to compare. Yeah, it's about the size is about correct. We just need to shape it so that it's more circular. Grab some more flour so as to reduce the amount of sticking. There we go. I think that's pretty good overall. I'm gonna bring the muffin trays back in and we will fill these bad boys out. Spray this bad boy with a little bit more cooking spray, and we're going to push these bad boys down. And there we go. Step 7. We're going to start making our chocolate glaze. We're going to warm 2 tablespoons of milk in a small saucepan over medium-low heat, and then combine it with 1/4 cup of butter, 1/2 tablespoon of light corn syrup, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to bring our portable burner back into the fray. We couldn't keep it away for long. That's 1 tablespoon of milk, and that's 2 tablespoons of milk. I went ahead and actually measured out our 1/4 cup of butter ahead of time. I learned our lesson from one of our previous streams. So we've got this all pretty much prepared and ready to go. I think the milk has heated sufficiently, so I'm going to put our butter in there. It's got our light corn syrup in here. I can't remember the last time we ever actually had corn syrup in our house, if ever. Stuff is bad news, but it can make things very, very tasty. I'm going to measure out 1/2 tablespoon of the stuff. And last but not least, we need our teaspoon of vanilla extract. And there we go. Stir it up a little bit with our spoon. Step 8, we're going to turn off the heat after everything is fully melted, and then we're going to add 2 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips to our milk mixture. For this particular step, I'm actually gonna do something slightly different. Rather than leave our thing in our little pot over a portable burner, I'm actually going to pour this mixture into this shallow bowl, and then we're going to mix our chocolate chips in there. And now we'll whisk them up. Step number 9. We're going to add 1 cup of icing sugar to our chocolate mixture and whisk until smooth. And then we're going to dip our chocolate donut treat into it. I have our icing sugar right over here. Going to measure out a cup of this stuff. And there we go. Not going to lie, it's beginning to smell really nice. Let's see here. Oh, it's not quite stable enough for me to fully grasp it with my hands. Yeah, you know what? I'll keep it on the parchment paper, but I will dip it upside down into the glaze. It's not bad, but I feel like I could get a little bit more glaze on there. Luckily, I have a couple of spoons on hand. So much for putting them in the shallow bowls, I guess, but anyways. There we go. I think that's about good. I've not actually tried any of the glaze myself. Let's have a little bit right now. Now, that is unhealthy for me, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't good. Step 10. We're going to make our vanilla glaze by stirring together 1 1/4 cup of icing sugar, 2 teaspoons of milk, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla in a shallow bowl until smooth. Very simple. It's 1 cup, and that's 1/4 cup. Is it just 2 teaspoons of milk? That feels like a very small amount. Let me just go to the original recipe I got this from. Yeah, just 2 teaspoons of milk. It's a little surprising, but I can always add more as I go. And 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Yeah, something gives me a feeling that the recipe that we're using might have accidentally not measured correctly the amount of teaspoons of milk we needed to use. We're adding in a heaping additional 1/3 teaspoon of milk. Is it enough? No, not quite. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add another heaping teaspoon. Well, it's all basically mostly cohesive right now, but it's not watery enough. Let's add another teaspoon. This is definitely getting us closer to where we want to be. Another teaspoon. Okay, I think this might have done the trick though. So note for future, if ever we reuse this recipe, it's 2 tablespoons of milk, not 2 teaspoons. I think it would just make most sense if I were to just pour the glaze directly on this thing instead of trying to dip this in there. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to do that. We'll start here and we'll move our way around clockwise. And I think that's good. I'm just going to have a little taste of this myself. That stuff is definitely not as flavorful as the chocolate, but I mean, it did what we wanted it to do. Ugh. With that taken care of, we are ready for the final step, step 11. We're going to dip our birthday cake donut treats into our vanilla glaze and then sprinkle birthday cake sprinkles on them. Sprinkle time. And there we go. I think that's that, which means that it's time for us to taste test our creations. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start with the chocolate one. Now, I said at the front that I would have a fun little surprise prepared. And my fun little surprise prepared is that I actually have the real OG Tim Hortons donuts that we based our creations on. This right here is an actual double chocolate donut. Yeah, that's a double chocolate donut. Nothing really super surprising there. You know what? I figured out the perfect way for us to cut our piece. This is the same spatula that we used a little bit earlier to push down some of our treats. It's not very sharp, but we can use it like a knife, so that's exactly what we're going to do. What an interesting specimen. It's not as firm as a whole as how I thought it was going to be, but we certainly made today. We certainly cooked today. Bottoms up. It's really tasty. It's really tasty. But make no mistake, this doesn't taste like a donut. It tastes like a chocolatey Rice Krispie treat that happens to have a donut glaze on top. Still very successful in its own regard, but I mean, nobody would confuse this with a donut. Well, I really like that, but now I'm extra curious to see how the vanilla one came out. So this is a birthday cake flavored donut. Tim Hortons has on occasion sold birthday cake donuts, but at the moment, they actually don't have whole donuts. They only have birthday cake flavored Timbits. So I got the next best thing. I got just a standard vanilla sprinkled donut from Tim Hortons. It's technically not exactly the same flavor as this, but I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, it's totally fine. I would never normally order a donut like this, but if someone gave it to me on the street, I'd be like, yeah, it's okay. I don't mind this at all. Same technique as last time. We're gonna cut a piece of this with our spatula. There we go. That's a good piece. The glaze we put on this thing, pretty soupy, but hopefully the finished product will still turn out to be a good old fun time, just like the fun little sprinkles on it. Bottoms up. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I might almost prefer this one to the chocolate glazed one. I thought that the glaze on this one was going to ruin its flavor because the glaze tasted on its own very sugary, not very flavorful, but for whatever reason it added just a little bit of extra flavor, but not that much, that I think I actually slightly prefer this one more. I really do think that the birthday cakiness of the Timbits really comes through in a way that the chocolatiness of the chocolate Timbit cereal doesn't necessarily to the same degree. These are tasty. These are freaking tasty. Okay, it's the end of season 5 of Kozibear's Cooking. This season of Kozibear's Cooking was a lot of fun to do. This is the first season of Kozibear's Cooking, the first season of anything ever in my streaming efforts where I multi-streamed to both Twitch and YouTube, which was a big learning process for me. Of course, all things must come to an end, but just because something is coming to an end doesn't mean it can't continue in the future, which is why I am proud to announce season 6 of Kozibear's Cooking will be debuting Wednesday, September 25th, a little bit over a month and 2 weeks from now. And with that taken care of, it's the end of the season. I had a lot of fun with you guys. Take care. Have a good night. Bake something sweet tonight.